Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the all-new Urban Legends video. Alright, let's go ahead and let's do another entry here. This one yet again based on one of your new suggestions. This one having to do with a fascinating entry involving a lake somewhere around there near Reno, Nevada. In fact, when I was reading this information, it made me realize that there could be a chance, even if it's a little bit remote, but still could be a chance that I may visit this lake sometime in the future. And this all has to do with the proximity of it associated to Las Vegas, Nevada. So who knows, maybe one day you may actually see me at this lake trying to pursue this particular urban legend. You know how much I love being able to do stuff like that here. But it has to do with this. You're looking, in fact, at a representation of it now. It goes by various names, but it's more commonly known as the Spiteful Mermaid of Pyramid Lake. So let's go ahead and let's talk about all the fascinating information associated with this very, very broad urban legend. And I mention that because a lot of details are still lacking for it. So what is this Spiteful Mermaid of Pyramid Lake? Well, apparently it's an entity of some sort that haunts, if you could call it that, Pyramid Lake there near Reno, Nevada. Pyramid Lake in of itself is a very, very large lake. In fact, when I was looking at the information, you're looking at about maybe 23 million square feet of pure water. This is something that stretches about almost 30 miles in length, almost 9 miles in total width, just complete pure 100% just water for whatever this entity is to be there. And on top of that, there's even other entities known as water babies, which I've talked about in yet another video, which I'll include the link for it below if you haven't had to check it out, that you can see these entities there as well too. So how about that? 2 for 1 when it comes to this very, very massive lake, not only with regards to this Spiteful Mermaid, but also with regards to those water babies. The reason why it's called Pyramid Lake too is because this feature that you're looking at here obviously sticks out. This is known as a tuft or tufa, if I'm not mistaken, and basically it's just a very, very large rock, but obviously it's in the shape of a pyramid, hence the name associated with it. I'm sure it looks very majestic in pictures, but if you see it in person, I imagine it's just wondrous, and you'll be able to see just how massive and large this is. But pretty much ever since it's been around, this lake has just caused some eerie stuff associated with it, especially with a tribe that used to live there. In fact, here's how the origins of this urban legend came about. So who knows how far back, but sometime in the past, there was a tribe there that was known as the Native Paute tribe. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Paute tribe, and they lived there along with, I think, 3 other groups, if I'm not mistaken. They all pretty much shared that location, and it occupied several parts of what would be considered Nevada, all the way up to certain parts of the Colorado River, and then even going into the Mojave Desert. And so pretty much they were all living there. This tribe in particular were known as the kiwi eaters, which was part of a fish that was there native to the lake, and they were very, very specialized in catching this fish and then living in this very, very harsh environment. And in fact, they did so for a good time period until one fateful day in 1844. As it turns out, that's when an American explorer by the name of John C. Fremont discovered this area, obviously saw that this was something involving a very nice lake, some land and around there, and so sure enough, Western expansion started to go into that area. And at first things were a little bit peaceful. I was reading information about the tribe there kind of trading with some of the ranchers and then going a little bit of harmony back and forth with the settlers as well. But obviously things went into a disruption, things went into disarray, and then that's when others within the tribe resented everything that was happening. This was their land. They wanted to stick there. They didn't necessarily want to have anyone else intruding, and then that's when war started coming out. Ultimately, though, the original tribe there lost. There was a lot of lives lost, in fact, from their end, and then that's when there was a ceasefire, and then that was it. That was pretty much the last bit of information that I read as far as that tribe there. Keep that in mind, though, as far as that fateful day in 1844, because it ties into the urban legend that I'll mention now. Sometime before that time period, when it was just a tribe there, And again, that's why I mentioned even at the beginning of the video that a lot of this information is broad. There's not much concrete details. But sometime before that time period, somewhere along the way, a mermaid popped up at this lake. I don't know why it was there. I don't know where it came from. But there was a mermaid that was suddenly there at Pyramid Lake. And this was again during the time period when it was only that tribe there. No settlers, in other words. So presumably this was hundreds of years back, or it could have been even just a small time period before 1844. But still, at this native Paute tribe, they saw this mermaid, and this mermaid started to, I guess, live amongst them. So much so that one of the men there from the tribe themselves, from the village, actually brought the mermaid to the village. I'm guessing that he was courting her for some time period, and then she decided to say yes. He announced to the village themselves that he was going to marry her. So it was going to be him, someone from that tribe, and now this mermaid, and they were going to somehow, I guess, live together, I guess, near that lake or somewhere within that village, and that was going to be that. Unfortunately, though, just like anything involving lost love or forbidden love, that's when, rather than them saying, getting a huge yes when it came to this village, instead the village said no. They were not going to have anything as far as this mermaid, somebody, I guess, an outsider, someone that was not part of them within that tribe, marry someone from that village. And so they said no. In fact, they cast her out, put her back into the water, and then banished her outright. I don't know exactly how that happened either. You would think that if she was able to pop up all of a sudden on her own, that she would be able to do so again and mingle within the village just like she was doing before. But something was done, and it looks like that kept her away, and that made her mad. This was not something that she took lightly, hence the name associated with the Spiteful Mermaid. Somewhere along the way, she became so upset with how she was treated and how she was banished from that particular tribe that as she was leaving from that lake, probably going back to wherever she came from originally, she put a curse on it. She said anyone that lives there within that lake or near that lake will experience misfortune. They will experience hardship. That was the curse. Although I've read two different versions of that curse now. One is that it's anyone that happens to be near that lake whatsoever, then you would actually face that curse. The other one that I've read is it has to be someone from that tribe, or I guess someone like a descendant from that tribe. She'll apparently recognize that that is happening, that is someone from the tribe themselves, who knows how many years later, even if they're descendants, and then that's when she'll realize that the curse is going to happen to them. And if that's the case, then apparently if you're not a descendant and you're not part of that tribe at all, then you'll be safe. So at least, again, those are the two versions that I read. It's pretty much a coin toss which one you want to believe, but let's go ahead and assume that it's all of it. Like if you happen to live near that lake for whatever reason, then you are part of that curse. So the way it goes is, yes, it's pretty much her curse is the one that led to that settler coming on in 1844 to that location. She actually brought him forward, maybe coerced him, or maybe implemented little thoughts in his mind, something to point him towards that direction. And then when that happened, that's when he found out. And then, of course, that's when the rest of the settlers came, and that led to the war, that led to the deaths afterward, many deaths from that tribe. And so there's that theory, that she in turn first brought that curse because of her banishment, and then that in turn led to anything as far as the settlers, and then causing so much pandemonium and so much catastrophe within that tribe afterward. And even then, now, if you go apparently to that lake, that's when you can still have that curse happen to you. And the way it goes is apparently there's a lot of mysterious disappearances that occurred there at that lake to this very day. Some kind of unexplainable, tragic stuff, almost like one in a million type shots as to how these things happen. Like maybe somebody drowning that shouldn't have drowned, or maybe some kind of accident happening that claimed a life near the lake itself. Something along those lines, something that just makes people scratch their heads and wonder, how did that happen? Then that's when the locals there and others state, well, it's the urban legend of this Spiteful Mermaid. She's still there haunting that location to this very day, and still claiming lives. Anyone that happens to go near that location, then that's when she comes into play. Even then, people still state that there's like this creepy essence, like this creepy notion whenever you go to that lake. I imagine it's even more amplified when you go there at night, and then that's when this is again attributed to this Spiteful Mermaid or the previous water babies that I was mentioning earlier. I might do actually a different video on them too, something else focusing at least at this location, and then that way you'll get to see more information on that too later on. But that's pretty much it. That's everything I could find as far as this actual Pyramid Lake, the Spiteful Mermaid that's located there, and her raft that apparently still continues to this very day. Something that's really interesting to me. Again, I might go actually see this lake sometime in the future. I've been wanting to go to Reno, Nevada, for a long time now. I'm just waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, something along the lines of, let's say, tour or something that takes me from Las Vegas to Reno, Nevada, and then I could stay there overnight and so on. If that's the case, then and it works out perfectly, then one of these tours, no doubt, goes to this lake, and boom, there I am, able to do a live stream for you guys and gals, and then that way, who knows, we'll be able to see something or hear something associated with this Spiteful Mermaid. But that's all in the future, so definitely the seed is planted, and I'll be happy to take a look at that later on. But if anybody knows more information, anyone local there to that area, maybe you've been by Pyramid Lake before, maybe you've heard or seen something that stands out, especially with regards to this Spiteful Mermaid, then please post those comments below. That'd be really, really great to share with everyone here. All right, everybody, thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.